Welcome back, rockhounds, tectonic titans, and curious minds. You've spent months in the field, dodged rattlesnakes, survived on lukewarm coffee, and finally cracked the code of that strange folding pattern in the backcountry. You've drafted your manuscript, polished your geochemical models, and now you are ready to show the world. But wait, before you hit that submit button on a preprint server like ResearchSquare, we need to have a serious talk about permanence. Think of a preprint as the director's cut of your research. It's the version of your manuscript that goes public before the formal peer review process at a journal has put it through the ringer. In the world of geology, where things usually move at a glacial pace, preprints are the high-speed rail of information. They allow you to share your discoveries in days rather than months or years. However, unlike a social media post that you can delete when you realize you had spinach in your teeth, a preprint is more like a tattoo. Once it's got a DOI, it's a permanent part of the scholarly record. Today we are diving deep into the world of ResearchSquare, in-review services, and the seismic shifts happening in how we share Earth science. We'll look at the perks, like getting cited earlier and staking your claim on a discovery, but we'll also look at the risks of making your rough draft a permanent fixture of your professional reputation. If you've ever wondered if you should preprint your work or if you're terrified of being scooped by a rival lab, this video is for you. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is a preprint? Essentially, it is a complete scientific manuscript that is uploaded by the authors to a public server for anyone to read, for free. This tradition actually started way back in 1991 with the physics community and a little site called Archive. For a long time, the life sciences and geosciences were a bit hesitant, worried that journals wouldn't accept papers that had already been published online. But times have changed, and now, about 86% of top journals are perfectly happy to see your work on a preprint server first. One of the biggest players in this space today is ResearchSquare. It isn't just a place to dump your files, it's a massive multidisciplinary platform that has teamed up with major publishers like Springer Nature. They offer a unique service called In Review. This service allows you to opt into preprinting at the exact same moment you submit your paper to a journal. It's like a buy one, get one free deal for your career. One click submits your paper for peer review and posts a public citable version for the world to see. When you use In Review, your manuscript gets a digital object identifier, or DOI. This is the gold standard for tracking research. It means your work is indexed in places like Google Scholar, ResearchGate, and Europe, PMC, almost immediately. For a junior geologist looking to prove productivity to a hiring committee, having a citable DOI for a paper that is still stuck in the months-long peer review pipeline can be a total game-changer. It shows you're active and your work is out there being read. But here is where the warning in our title comes in. Once that DOI is assigned and the preprint is posted, it becomes a permanent part of the scholarly record. You cannot simply ask for it to be unpublished because you changed your mind or found a better way to phrase your conclusion. Most preprint servers, including ResearchSquare, have a very strict policy. Preprints are permanent. They are archived in community-supported repositories like Portico, ensuring they stay available even if the server itself went under. Why does this matter? Well, geology is a precise science. If you post a preprint with a major flaw in your geochemical data or a structural map that turns out to be upside down, that version is linked to your name forever. Even if you later fix those mistakes in the final journal version, the messy version remains discoverable. It's a permanent digital footprint. While you can upload new versions, and some preprints have as many as 14 updates, the original versions usually stay accessible in the version history. The In Review service also offers something called a peer review timeline. This is a level of transparency we've never really had before in science. It shows the public when the editor was assigned, how many reviewers were invited, and when those reviews were received. It's fascinating to watch, but it also means the whole world can see if your paper is struggling or sailing through. If the journal eventually rejects your paper, the In Review branding and the timeline are quietly removed, but the preprint itself stays on ResearchSquare as a regular document. Now, let's talk about the benefits of this early exposure. The biggest one is priority claim. In the competitive world of ore prospecting or tectonic modeling, being the first to report a find is everything. A preprint establishes a public timestamp for your discovery. If a rival group publishes a similar finding 6 months from now in a journal, your preprint serves as rock-solid evidence that you were there first. It's the ultimate dibs in the scientific world. Another huge perk is feedback. When you post a preprint, you're basically inviting the global community of geologists to take a look and tell you what they think. They might find a typo, suggest a paper you missed, or challenge an interpretation. This allows you to improve the manuscript before the formal journal reviewers even see it. It makes the final publication much stronger and can actually speed up the acceptance process because you've already addressed the common criticisms. If you are interested in these subjects, please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment from where are you visiting, and share this channel with your friends. Until next time, keep exploring. Alright, we're back for the second half. We've talked about why preprints are cool, but now we need to look at the how-to and some of the strategic traps you might fall into. Submitting to Research Square is surprisingly easy, maybe too easy if you haven't checked with your co-authors yet. You basically log in, drag and drop your PDF or Word doc, enter your abstract and keywords, and confirm your institutional affiliations. Within 24 to 48 hours, after a quick check by their team to make sure you aren't posting pseudoscience, your work is live. But before you drag that file into the upload box, you must ensure every single co-author is on board. Because of that permanence we keep talking about, you can't just oops your way out of a submission if your senior advisor didn't want the data public yet. This is especially true if you're working on something that might be patentable. A preprint is a public disclosure. If you upload your revolutionary new ML algorithm for mineral exploration before filing for a patent, you might have just handed your intellectual property to the public for free. There is also the scooping myth to debunk. Some geologists fear that if they put their best data in a preprint, someone else will steal it and publish it in a journal before them. In reality, the opposite is true. Because the preprint has a DOI and a date, it's much harder for someone to steal your work. If they tried, you would have a public, time-stamped record proving you were the original author. Most experts agree that preprinting actually protects you from being scooped, rather than making you vulnerable to it. Let's talk about what happens if things go wrong. What if you realize there's a massive error and you absolutely must take it down? In the world of preprints, you have withdrawals and removals. A withdrawal is like an article retraction. The original preprint remains on the server, but a red notice is slapped on it explaining why the authors no longer stand by the work. It's still there for everyone to see, but with a warning sign. It's transparent, but it's not exactly a clean slate. A removal is much rarer, and usually only happens for legal reasons, such as a violation of privacy or a serious copyright dispute. In these cases, the full text is scrubbed, and only a notice of removal remains. Some servers are even more extreme. If a preprint leads to a 404 error page on the server side, it might be removed from indexes like Europe PMC entirely. But generally speaking, you should operate under the assumption that once you click Submit, that paper is going to outlive you. For our Earth Science community, the In-Review dashboard is a particularly useful tool for managing reviewer anxiety. We've all been there, refreshing the journal portal every 10 minutes for 3 months, wondering if under-review means the editor is reading it, or if the reviewers have forgotten it exists. The Research Square dashboard often provides more granular updates than the journal's own system. It can tell you if reviewers have agreed to look at it, or if the editor is still hunting for experts. One thing Research Square does not do, however, is evaluate the quality of your science. It is a distribution platform, not a review service. It doesn't check if your geochemical math adds up, or if your cross-sections are physically possible. This has led to a common mistake: authors using preprint servers as a test to see if their paper is ready. This is a bad strategy. Because the paper is permanent, you should only post it when you are confident it is scientifically complete. There are tools out there to help you before you make it permanent. Some services offer readiness checks that look for common reasons a paper might get rejected, like citation errors or figure problems. It's always better to run one of these checks, or at least have a colleague give it a brutal internal review, before you commit to the permanent public record. Remember, a visible weak paper doesn't become strong just because it's on a server. It just becomes a visible weak paper. As we wrap up, let's look at the citation advantage. Multiple studies have shown that papers that start as preprints end up getting more citations in the long run. Why? Because they start accumulating attention months before the journal version even hits the press. By the time the final version is out, people have already been talking about your work on Twitter, citing it in their own preprints, and sharing it in labs. It's a head start that most successful modern geologists are now using to their advantage. So, should you publish your next geology paper as a preprint? If your work is scientifically solid, your co-authors are in agreement, and you don't have any pending patent issues, the answer is a resounding yes. It's a fantastic way to speed up science, get your name out there, and join the global conversation. Just remember the golden rule of the digital age. Think twice, click once, because that DOI is forever. If you have questions about Research Square, the in-review process, or how to handle a preprint that needs a version update, drop them in the comments below. Science is evolving, and the way we share it is shifting beneath our feet like a tectonic plate. It's an exciting time to be a researcher, provided you know where the pitfalls are. If you are interested in these subjects, please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment from where you're visiting, and share this channel with your friends. Until next time, keep exploring.
Welcome to my channel, where you'll find over 2,000 videos on geology, geochemistry, AI, and many other subjects. If you like what you see, help us grow by subscribing, liking, and sharing this channel.
I think these videos are brilliant, and I'm sure you will like them too. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell.